beginning our day. This is the normal time of the year when we start having guests again out of winter retreat, but it's good to reflect on the winter retreat, and the 480 padas, part of that is the vimamsa, the reflection or reviewing how things went. So we may have had high hopes for our winter retreat, thinking we're going to get some sort of samadhi, and then we find that the mind ends up thinking of all sorts of things. And there's usually the normal ruts that the mind gets stuck in. Probably the biggest rut for most people is just thoughts about health concerns. That's a big rut. And then the Buddha called that an impurity of gold that we have to deal with, that we have to be able to let go of, the intoxication with health. And then there's proliferation about friends and family. That's another impurity of gold. So that's something that, we may have had high hopes about getting our jhanas, getting our samadhi together, but then those things come up, and then that's just the reality of the situation. And because they're deeply worn ruts, they're hard to let go of. And really, it's not just going to take pushing it away, and certainly it's absorbing into it isn't going to be helpful in any way, shape, or form. Trying to come to an end of doubts by thinking about it more and more, that's not going to be helpful in any way. But actually just addressing them, if something's coming up over and over again, then we just have to address it. Why is this coming up over and over again? Looking into it, what is the cause of this? What's the conditioning that's causing this mental proliferation to just happen over and over and over again? So if it's not a bad thing if we just had a lot of proliferation through the whole winter retreat. It's only a bad thing if we didn't learn something from it. So it's a good retreat if we learned something from it, and it's not such a good retreat if we didn't learn anything. Or if we did have some sort of samadhi and peaceful mind during the winter retreat, did we learn something from it? Or did we just kind of develop more of a conceited attitude and become less humble? That's a drawback. So however it went, whether it was pleasant or unpleasant, did we learn something? That's the important part. And Luang Por Sano is always stressing that over and over again. Did you learn something? Did you learn something from it? And if you learned something, then it was a good retreat, however pleasant or unpleasant it was. And now it's just, it's springtime, so there's some beautiful days ahead of us. And we have this opportunity for samaki during our work periods. It's still kind of that sense of coming out of retreat, so just have to be a little bit careful with our speech and a little bit watching the moods when they come up, maybe not just acting on them automatically, but actually just starting slow, not necessarily starting with a bang out of the gate, and kind of this image coming to mind for me right now of just like the gate coming down and kind of running and then just falling. And so we want to just kind of start by walking slowly and then kind of getting our momentum up out of the gate, rather than just stumbling. So starting slow, not expecting to get tons of stuff done, especially in the first week, but just feeling it out, and then remembering that mindfulness is all important. Mindfulness is what we can cultivate, whether it's in the meditation or during the work period. Then that sense of mindfulness, and when we get lost in ideas or thoughts of the future, or a lot of we call plurn in Thai, like getting the fun and enjoyment. It's kind of nice in the moment, but it leads to a loss of mindfulness. So we just have to be careful to catch ourselves. And sometimes even during the work period, we can reconnect with the breath. If we find ourselves kind of getting spun out in some sort of mood or opinion or some sort of proliferation, you can just come back to a few mindful breaths. That can be helpful. So just as we get started with things, just to take it slow. And also this lifestyle that we've signed up for, that we've voluntarily signed up for, it's actually quite difficult. The beginning, especially the beginning. Remember one monk, he had written in a journal or something when he was in his second vasa, don't ever forget how difficult this is at this time. Because of course it got easier later on, the precepts got more second nature, and it became more just normal to live the monastic lifestyle. But then at the beginnings, it's actually difficult, and it's designed to be difficult. We're volunteering to enter into a struggle, and so it's not expected that it's going to be, say, pleasant or good all the time, especially at first. And then those of us who have reached more seniority, it's these hard-won victories of just putting in the time And you get somebody who's a Majjhima or a Thera, and having put in that time, that's really makes a difference. There's no substitute for experience. You can't really gain a lot of experience without gaining a lot of experience. We want experience, but we have to gain experience, and that just takes time. So just to take it slow, and just one foot in front of the other, and just to gain that experience. I was thinking of Ajahn Sudhiro, who's not here, so I can praise him now. He wouldn't want to be praised if he was here, but taking 12 years to learn the Patimokkha, but he actually kept going. He actually didn't stop. He actually did, for the first time, chant the Patimokkha, or last Patimokkha, after 12 years of trying to learn the Patimokkha. He just never gave up. Just put one foot in front of the other, and that's how you do it. And for him, I had this image in my mind of a very visual mind of like he was in a marathon, and everybody's finished the marathon like weeks ago, and he's just kind of like crawling, but still moving forward and still making it through the finish line somehow. But he didn't stop. He didn't give up. So no matter how long it takes, and in a way, when you go slower, it's even better. I mean, he chanted it really fast, like the first time. And yeah, there were a few mistakes, but it was pretty good. So in some ways, when we learn slowly, then somehow it gets more ingrained. So anyway, that's a few reflections for this morning.